Welcome to the Florida Divorce Podcast, your source for the information you need to successfully get through your divorce and into the next exciting chapter of life. Now, here's your host, Attorney Scott Kalish.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Kalish. I am a divorce and family law attorney here in South Florida. Today I want to talk about how long will it take to finalize a divorce, right? So this is a question that comes up almost every consult that I do. Everyone wants to know, how long will this process take? So I give the same answer almost every time, and it's not the best one. It really depends upon the case. Obviously, when I'm speaking to somebody, they tell me, a little bit about their case, and I'm able to gauge based on my experience, how long I think we can get it wrapped up in, right? Depends upon obviously the issues, how complex the issues are, how many issues, are there? What is, the mindset of the other person? Are they extremely unreasonable? All those things come into play. To give you an example, right? If a case has no significant assets, no significant debts, there are no children, it's just a matter of getting the two divorced, maybe, signing a simple agreement saying that neither person is going to be asking for alimony and there is no property to be divided, then a case like that can be handled really. If everyone's on the same page and we get an agreement signed, it can be done, before 30 days is up, right? That's a extreme example, one way. The extreme example the other way is there are, if there's a ton of debt or a ton of assets that have to be divided, or there are children and there are major issues with the children, right, and a parenting plan, and both parties, do not see eye to eye, and a guardian ad litem has to be appointed. Maybe there are investigations that have to be conducted. That's an extreme example the other way, where it might not be over before 12 months, right? It could be over a year. It could be sometimes 2 years. There are cases that literally drag on for months and months because the issues are very complex, or, it takes the parties a very long time to see eye to eye. Trials get scheduled, they get continued. They think they have an agreement. There's no agreement. It can go on and on, really. So the answer really depends upon the facts of the case, right? So when you look at your case, you got to ask yourself, are there a lot of issues here? And, am I on the same page almost with my spouse? And if the answer is no, there aren't a ton of issues, and you are seeing eye to eye with your spouse, then it can be done very, very quickly. But if not, if your spouse is a fighter, or if you're a fighter, then it's going to drag on, and it's going to be longer. So again, there are certain tactics and strategies to use to streamline the process, right? Sometimes parties or attorneys drag their feet through cases, and that obviously prolongs it. So there are certain strategies and tactics that attorneys can take to combat that, to make sure that that isn't happening, right? To move the case on. Some judges are very, very proactive in moving their cases. So sometimes judges won't let that happen. Other times, judges, they don't care if you move the case. A case can be pending and there can be no activity on it for 6 months, and they don't mind, right? They don't care. Recently, though, after COVID, the Supreme Court is cracking down on that, and they're trying to make judges, move the cases. So a case essentially will go on until the parties can either, number one, resolve the case themselves. They can reach an agreement, right? Or it'll take as long as a judge needs to try the issues, right? To have a hearing and to have a trial on it, for a judge to rule on it. Because if the parties are unable to reach an agreement themselves, the next step is to have a judge hear the issues, hear the facts, and then rule and reach a decision on the case. So that's how long a divorce can take in Florida. If you like this podcast, if you got something valuable from it, please give it a 5-star review. If you have a question, please feel free to ask it. And if you give me permission, I'm happy to answer it on an upcoming podcast episode. Feel free to email me at scott@kjlawfla.com. Again, scott@kjlawfla.com. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Florida Divorce Podcast. To learn the 10 secrets behind every successful divorce, visit floridadivorcepodcast.com. If you'd like Scott's help in your divorce case, go to kjlawfla.com.